Jamie from Inky&Scrappy, joining you today with my Let's Start Stamping series with a new layout. So if you've been following, we did a few of them with this layout, kind of switching it a little bit to kind of see a couple of different options and one without even a sentiment on it at all. So we're going to go to this one. This is kind of my next, I guess, layout idea design. And you have options with this one. So I did the 3 on the top and then the 3 on the bottom and the sentiment in the middle. I don't know which one we're going to do today. I'll see kind of where we're going with it. And then the one with kind of the 3 on the top and a sentiment coming in on the bottom. Now, you can definitely do this one this way. You can do this one this way. You know, it's not, shall we say, it's not set in stone. Do what you want. You could definitely make these circles. You can make them shapes. So you could do 3 different flowers. You could do 3 different characters on there. Keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be. And this one works really good for like your smaller stamps. And you'll get a little bit, hopefully you get a feel for moving things around and kind of, you know, layout wise is really what these are about. And if you struggle with layout issues or layout and sizes, look at Pinterest. Has amazing amounts of card layout designs, and you know, hopefully that helps. Now I'm going to bring in some die cuts today. These are Lawn Fonts. I think they're the Simple Sentiment strips. I will list it and link it below if I can find them. I'm sure I can. They're just nice to use for, you know, those types of things. But I use them a lot if I stamp on my background and it doesn't turn out. You can always stamp it again on a sentiment strip and put it over the top. It hides that, you know, not great stamping. And you have multiple options. So the other thing is you don't actually need them to do it. So you can take a piece of paper and you just kind of measure the half point of it. I'm just folding it quick because, you know, I don't like measuring. But all you're going to do is kind of, you find your center and then you cut in from your center to a point. And then all you do is take from that corner to your center point on both sides. So make sure you line it up. But it'll give you, where my eyeballs aren't working the greatest today. It'll give you a flagged look without a whole lot of effort and work. But that's one way to do it. You definitely don't need the dies for this one. I'm just bringing them in to kind of show you, if you've got a die machine or you're thinking about it, kind of the uses. The other thing with dies is, you know, you can definitely do the little squares are kind of nice. This one is only 1 1/4 inches, so there's like a 1/4 inch all the way around it when you're looking at this shape and this shape, which is, you can totally do, take your 1.5 inches and then make your cut, maybe your square 1 1/4 inches. Don't feel you have to do stamped images on all of those. It could definitely be pattern paper on those types of things to fill it in, and then you're just stamping the sentiment. It makes it for a lot simpler, faster card design, if that's something you're interested in. So when I say they're squares, you can definitely make them circles. You can make them, you could just do the little, find an image that's about 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches, you know, a roundabout. And you could just do, you could do the leaves. You do 3 leaves on there, or 2 leaves and a bigger flower in the middle, or those types of things. So don't feel you're stuck with the square on this one, because that was not the intent at all. So I did pull in a few different stamp sets just to kind of show you some ideas. You don't have to use them. So like I said, these 3 would work on there. 1, 2, 3. You could put them in squares if you wanted. You don't have to put them in squares. You could cut them out individually and put them on there. Keep in mind, you can do stuff with your background. You could make it different colors. You can do some ink blending. You can do some pattern paper. Any of those things are all options, right? So the other thing is, don't feel like you have to do a square. So if we take this one, I'm going to turn it this way just because I think it'll show you a little bit better what I'm thinking here, and you're not really gonna, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it because once I pull them off, you aren't gonna see much, right? So, but think of it as this way, like one here. Which way is he going? He's going the other way. So they're kind of facing each other, and maybe they're all running towards the cupcake, because that would be me. I'd be running towards the cupcake. So they're not all 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, right? They're kind of taller, so they're a little bit more of a rectangle shape. And you could do this one in rectangles. Stamp your image, figure out, you know, the rectangle size, and go from there. Just make sure the height is all the same. It doesn't have to be width-wise. It doesn't have to be the same. So keep that in mind. You know, the other option is to do like this one's hanging out, and then maybe he's just got, you could definitely just do a portion of this one. So you just have that heart, you know, so he's isn't in the square. So don't feel like you're stuck with a square or only using a couple of different a couple of different options, you know, but it's also great for using some of the smaller stamps that come with your larger stamp sets. So you could definitely just do one with that one with that one, and maybe one with a little island, and you can make it work that way. Don't be afraid to use, you know, images on your sentiment strips, those types of things. So I just kind of wanted to give you a few different ideas of how to kind of play with it a little bit and make it work for you. So let's see. This is like the 5th taping because I keep getting interrupted. It's called life. Okay. So I kind of wanted to also bring in, I think we're going to use this one today, possibly. We're going to use the Unicorn Picnic. But if you're looking at stamp sets, you know, there's so many out there. So many out there. So don't be like, well, I don't have that one, I can't do it. You modify what you have to make it work for you. So like the unicorn one has this long cloud. Well, this one has this longer thing of records. So keep that in mind when you're doing, you know, your layouts or you're looking at things. Don't feel like you're stuck, you know, because you don't have one or the other. Kind of look at sizes and shapes and go that way. And we'll go from there. Let's see. I don't know what I want to do today. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my Bristol Smooth cardstock again. Did we talk about bigger images? You know, I said it was like my 4th whatevers, right? So if you have a larger image, I don't do a lot of florals. They're really not my thing. I have a couple of stamps, but a large floral image would work perfect for this one. Cut one out or stamp it, color it, and then cut it out in sections. And so you might have a focus point on maybe, you know, I think I can draw on this one. Okay. So, you know, do your focal point. Here's your center. Here are your petals coming out. And then this one might have it over here. So you're still using part of it. And then this one maybe just has those petals poking in. So don't feel like you have to have little images for this one. You can definitely do it with some larger images, especially when it comes to floral type images. Is it mandala? Did I say it right? I don't know, but that would work. Pattern paper works in those types of things, and it makes for a lot faster card because you're not coloring. Coloring takes me forever. So I think we're going to go with one of those two. I haven't decided yet. Well, I'll figure it out as we go here, okay? It's called Jamie Doesn't Know What She's Doing Today. It's called life. Okay. I am going to use the Unicorn Picnic stamp set. So as I said in previous videos, I kind of started my sister-in-law in stamping. I know this is a set that she has, so thank you to Margot. I know this is a set that she has, and so I thought it would be fun to kind of use it so she can make one with me today. So I think, let's see. We have so many options with this one. Let's bring this one back in. I urge you to either print out ones that you find, because you can doodle on them, get yourself. This one is just a cheap, I think it's a bullet journal off of Amazon. It was like a 3-pack for, I don't know, they were pretty cheap. Not too bad price-wise. So let's see. If we do this one here, we can do a couple of clouds on this one. I kind of like when they're all facing that way, except for this one. Okay. So, he's here, they use this one there. Maybe we definitely do a cloud under there. You do a partial one. Maybe we'll just do this one, and maybe she's got. So you can do a little mini scene, like 3 little mini scenes on there. And this one, you could definitely bring in the cloud and put your sentiment on the cloud there if you wanted to. But I said we were going to use that die set, so we'll use those. But I think this is kind of what I'm thinking. And there's multiple ways to kind of, I don't know if we need to do that one per se, but I think I'm gonna stamp it because I'm not exactly sure how I want to do that one yet. And then this one here, I need it to fit inside of that 1.5 inches. So I want to cut these out and do them that way. So kind of got her there, that one there. I don't know if I need the cloud. I think I'm going to do the cloud, but I think I'm just going to kind of, I'll show you when I get that far. Okay. This would probably be easier if I go this way. Save myself some paper. Okay. So we have those kind of lined up on my paper where I think I want them. And then I'm going to tuck this one in. I need to move stuff out of my way. I feel singy-songy today. I am sorry. You poor human beings. Okay. So I'm just going to come in here, ink it up, see how it pressed. Oh, I need to do a second. So if stamping isn't, if you're new to it, take a piece of like copy scratch paper and just put ink on your stamps and try it. With this one, if you have the blocks, it's a really good, it takes a lot of time to figure out pressure when you're block stamping. And I don't mean that to be, truthfully, it took me I had a lot of fails before I had, not fails. So keep that in mind. It's like I don't know, it's a pressure, I don't want to say, I don't know, it's like you kind of just learn eventually how much pressure certain things take. I'm trying to think where I want this one. I just kind of want to give it a base, and it's probably going to get cut off anyways. So let's go over here. I'm just going to kind of, this is called lazy masking. I do this a lot. I don't like actually having to, masking means that you like stamp it on, maybe you stamp it on a post-it note and then you cut it out and then you lay it over the top of your image and then you get, kind of like that. So this is just me being super not technical and yes, kind of lazy. I'm not great at fussy cutting, especially when it comes to masks. But so I kind of have a cloud back there. That was kind of what I was looking for. For this one, I kind of want it on the cloud. So if I do, I think I'm going to actually have to mask on this one, aren't I? Oh, bugger. Okay. I'm just going to come in here, kind of press it. So you see, this is what a mask is. And so I have it on there. I didn't re-stamp it. You could definitely do it with a little bit darker. I don't know if I need the whole thing. I really just kind of need the tops here. I'm trying to think where I'm going to put my stamp. So I'm pretty sure as long as I cut this close, we'll get good enough here. Okay. This is also called Jamie being lazy when it comes to masking. I just need the general, you know, the general outline covered or shape covered, because I don't plan on putting it over the whole thing. But this way at least it's not gonna, you know, and I'm gonna selectively stamp here. So I know my base is about there. So let's go here with it. And so when you peel this, it has a little mark there. If you have a black fine liner, you can fill that in. No harm, no foul. I will say getting a good black fine liner is, it's helpful, especially if you're not great at masking or you don't like masking. This one's great. I have a black one. I would definitely say Micron or what's the other one? The other one is a Copic fine liner. I think this one's a 1.0. It's a little thick for me. This one is an 08, which means it's a 0.0 tip or 0.08 tip. You can definitely go smaller to like a 0.5 tip. And if you do a lot of stamping in black, I would suggest getting black. I just have the gray one sitting here. I don't know where my black one currently is. Oh, it's on the other side of my desk. That is life, right? Okay. So I have my images all stamped out. I think we're going to watercolor today. I'm not in the other kind of mood today. So let's see. I'm going to bring in my Inky&Scrappy class inks today to do this just because A, they're readily available. I already have them in my stash. They're close to my desk. And so, and I should have the colors that I need for this one. I'm going to need some sky blue or a lighter shade of blue or a dark blue that is very watered down would work too. I want to do some purple, which I don't know if the shaded lilac is kind of a bluish purple. You could definitely go with a more purpley purple, and you can mix and match your colors as well. And then I'm bringing in that Spun sugar for my pink shade, and ice cream shading. I'm thinking antique linen is probably going to be my closest to my vanilla, and vintage photo is probably going to be the closest to the chocolate. It will also work for, you know, coloring my unicorns too. So that being said, let me find a brush here. I am going to go with a fairly small detail brush today. I think last time I used a very large brush. For what I was doing, it did not work very well. But, I mean, it works. It's just not as fussy or finicky or as, I don't know, as much as I would like it to be. Let's see. The other thing you can do is get a like Zig Clean Color brush markers work very well. I don't want to bring in too many options for you, but a water brush works really well. But you can use this one water brush wise. The other one that we used to color with, I should have brought in colored pencils today. But this one's a Tombow N00, which basically it's like a blender brush. So it's one of the mediums that I used long ago. And you know, I like it. There's also a squeeze style water brush that works pretty good. You can also get one that has, this one is Spectrum Noir Sparkle. This is just a clear sparkle, so it's going to give you shimmer and shine. You can use this one just to add your, if you're using it with watercolor, I would color with it. I don't do that a whole lot, but it's, you know, it'll add, we'll use this one for the mains on the unicorns. They need sparkle. The other thing is they're just plain water brushes out there that you can, water brushes take a little bit of time, I think, to get used to, like the amount of water that they use, those types of things, and so keep that in mind. I'm not going to be able to water that one down on my own. So I'm just going to start with a little puddle of water. I have my rinse water here. I'll pop that open. So let's start coloring. So yeah, you can definitely go with whatever medium is kind of your thing. Alcohol brush markers work well for these, or alcohol fine nib markers work well for these types of images. The other thing you can do, this is just me, like spinning. It's a Monday today. I know it's Saturday via video, but it's a Monday for me today. Or it is Monday while I'm filming this one today. And it feels all Monday today. I'm feeling Monday. I don't know why I feel like singing today. That's weird. I'm sorry. You're going to get singy song Jamie today. So I'm going to drop a little bit more of a shadow, or try to kind of sort of, on the cloud back. And clouds, just remember that they're kind of scattery and not I don't know, fluid, I guess. Not like all the same color. I guess that's what I was thinking about doing colored pencils today when I was, you know, in my head figuring out what I was doing today for this one. And let's just say what was in my head earlier kind of escaped me, and then I forgot all about it. And now that I'm sitting down and actually coloring, it's come back to me. Yeah, maybe the next one I'll do some colored pencils. So I'm just kind of laying in, I don't know, a shadow base. And I don't even know if this is all going to be, it's probably not all going to be in my little square image. So I'm kind of doing this one as the 3, and I'm kind of doing it as each individual like little scene. So maybe it's just got like 3 little tiny scenes, and we'll go that route, right? So this one I kind of want to do. And this one, I'm not exactly sure what part is going to get cut off because, you know, I didn't measure. I didn't really look. I just kind of went with it and went that route. Now, keep in mind, you can definitely add in some, you know, maybe you want blue behind them or pink behind them or something. Color-wise, don't be afraid to water down your blue some more or take in a different blue. Maybe I'll do a purpley blue, and we'll kind of fill in the square before I cut them out. Let's see where we go from here, right? Do I want to do, let's do some skin tone first, because get that one out of the way. So I'm just watering down some of that vintage photo to give me a skin tone. More water is going to make it a lighter skin tone. Less water is going to make it a little bit darker skin tone. So keep that in mind. It's probably my favorite distress ink for skin tone. I think you can get so many pigments from it, and they don't have a green look to them. I think walnut stain kind of gives it a green look. It has more of a green tone to it, I feel. That's my personal opinion. Oh, I didn't bring, I could have brought in scattered straw for the banana. I'm allergic to bananas. I don't give them much thought. I do buy them for the boys. And my children are like me. So when I used to be able to eat bananas, as soon as they had brown spots on them, I was done. I like green, well, not like solid green, but like a greenish yellow banana. When they were all yellow, they just got, they were, I'd eat them yet, but they were not my favorite. So I got my banner. What color? I think we're going to go in. Let's do some pinks. So I'm going to do, and yes, my pink is like really light. I probably should have gone in with a darker pink, but it is what it is. I'm going to let it dry just a little bit in between there and just kind of bring in some more pigment to the outsides there and wherever I want the shadow or to be a little bit darker. I'm also going to do the hearts on top with that pink as well. It might need a second coat. I know I have spun sugar in my kit. I should really get Kitsched Flamingo maybe. It's just a little bit, it's a brighter pink and I could dull it out and it would be, you know what I mean? Yeah. Let's see. Do we want to do? I'm going to do some pink insides to my little unicorn ears here. I haven't decided. I think I'm going to leave my unicorns white. So I'm just going to give them a pink little cheek on both of them. And then let's do some hair. All right, I'm gonna do purple stripe. And so for hair on these, I just like to kind of start with one layer, try to make it darker at the two ends, and then either a little bit lighter in the middle, just because then it'll kind of give you the look of movement, I guess, or of a variation. I don't know. It's just how I color. I think we all find our style and we just kind of go with it, right? It is. That is just what I do. Okay. What? I should have brought in. I don't know if I want to bring in another color per se. All right, we'll do pink. Pink and purple. I'm going to hit that one with some more pink on the end. So where this one I did pink all throughout first, and then I'm just coming in with a second layer where I want maybe a little bit darker tone. And oh, I could probably do. Should have done them on this one as well. This one's going to have two pinks. So let's see. It is technically Memorial Weekend when this one is going to air. Let me know if you guys are busy this weekend or if you're, you know, like me and stuck working. We have had graduation since this one will air on Saturday. My youngest graduates on Friday night. So hopefully that went well. We will figure it out. I'm not exactly sure how we're doing it yet. Graduation is at 7 and we have to milk cows. So it's, I'm sure, going to be a mad dash to get there before, yeah. It's kind of how it goes. Farm life. Cows don't care if you're graduating your baby. They still want to get milked. So I just mixed a little bit of the pink in with the purple. It's going to give me just a little bit different color than the one on top. Let's see. I kind of want to do purple, purpley. Just do a straight purple. That one. I'm going to start her with purple on the top and then work my way into a pink on the bottom. And then I'll kind of mix in the middle. I'll try to zoom this one in when I do edits. Let's see, we're pretty good there. I'm going to do her hair brown. And then since we've got brown, we're going to do the topping. I'm just going to do chocolate. I think hot fudge. Hot fudge sundae. Okay. And then we're going to come back in. Once I rinse out my brush, I'm going to come back in with the antique linen. Let's get this one. We might end up having to do, because it's going to be way too close to that banana color, isn't it? I'm going to come in here and grab a little bit and just kind of mix it on my palette a little bit here to get a little bit darker shade. You would definitely have done pink there and made strawberry ice cream. Do I want to do, I think I'm going to do, I should have brought in black. Well, we're just going to use the antique linen, really watered down, and I'm just going to use it to kind of help shade my unicorn a little bit. Give the illusion, I mean it's white, right? But I kind of want to give it a little bit of depth. So kind of hitting by the ears, along the jawline a little bit. Oh, I didn't do that top area. Kind of the underside where the shadows might lie. You could do this with browns, or, you know, you could definitely make your unicorn colors. Just kind of gives it a little bit more shape. I didn't do that top hair color, so let's do a blue, but we're going to add just a little bit of purple to it. I just didn't want it to be the same color as the cloud. It kind of looks like the same color as the cloud, doesn't it? Oh well. Now for the unicorn horn, I'm just going to bring in this one. So this one is, it's like a squeeze brush. It's a water brush, but it's got that glittery stuff in it. So I squeezed it out pretty hard. I usually don't squeeze it out that hard because I'm going to come in and grab, let's see, do we want to do, let's just do a little bit of pink. So this is just going to kind of add some glittery shine to it. And so, and then of course I'm gonna do its hooves at the same time. So the other thing, let's do, I'm gonna pick up a little more pink here. Do the tops of those, and then I'm just gonna kind of wipe it off a little bit to make sure that I don't have any of that pink left on there. Because I want to do just a little bit on her wings in the blue. And so, fresh battery pack. Alright. Whoops. Okay. So, oops. Yeah. See, this is why I don't. Because it tends to, I have issues with them like sopping all over the place. So usually when I press it once and I get a little bit, see how it's like, it's just like a constant drizzle at the moment. which is not my favorite thing about these. So it's definitely not my favorite method of applying color, but if that's your thing, have at it. I think I need to bring in a separate color to do something else in the background here. I could go with a watered down glittery purple, I suppose. Should we do like a purpley blue? I'm just gonna mix these on my palette here. Of course I'm using the glitter. So I'm just gonna go, I just wanna add some, I don't know, some color so it looks like my sky has some color to it. Now keep in mind that for the most part, a lot of this is going to get cut off. So I just want to add a little bit of color in here. And then of course, because I'm doing it with that glitter brush. If you don't have a glitter brush, we talked about it on the first one that this stuff, the Norton, Winsor & Norton iridescent watercolor stuff would work for this type of thing. You can use it as your coloring base and definitely go that route. I could switch the colors on all of these. I'm not going to. I'm going to keep them cohesive, but you could definitely do. I'm just trying to be careful not to actually touch the images that I've already colored. I don't want to, but I'm trying to work wet on wet because it's going to give me the smoothest blend or the smoothest look of the blend. And I'm not, you know, like I said, I'm not exactly sure where I'm cutting these down yet, so I'm going to give myself a little bit more room than maybe I would if I already have them cut out. So they are definitely bigger than my 1.5 inches at the moment. I'm pretty sure that was going to get cut out on the cloud. But anyways, and my brush is clean, so I just kind of keep going until it doesn't have any color left in it and it's just the sparkle. I store mine upright. I think if I stored it the other way, it probably would all run down into the bottom. So I'm going to clean up my mess quick here. Put my top back on. Put the brush away. Whoops. Set that off to the side. Because I want it to dry fast, I have rubbing alcohol in a bottle. So I'm just going to use the rubbing alcohol. It dries really fast. So I don't have to worry about dry time. Dry time? Boy. Oh look, my whole thing is glittery now. Score! Okay. We are clean. Okay, so I've got my surface cleaned up. I'm just going to come in here and I'm not going to cut the whole thing down right where I want it right now because I'm not exactly sure where I want to make those cuts. So right now, you know, I'm kind of paying attention. So I have it at, it's a little over 2. So it's like a 2 3/8 if you want to be really technical. But I want to cut them down eventually to about 1.5 inches. So I want to start by kind of cutting them apart. And using this one, I'm hoping, so, you know, kind of pay attention to where your top line is here. So you're looking where, okay, I know that I'm going to have to leave it at least 1.5 inches. So let's see, if I do 1.5 inches here, I can kind of see where my framing is on it. Maybe I'll just come in with the brush and do a little bit more on it. But I want to make it, I don't know, I don't want them to have that harsh line. I'm fine with it. I wanted it kind of cut off a little bit more, but I didn't put my cloud maybe where I should have put my cloud. So this one is height-wise 1.5 inches. Now for this one. Now this one, obviously, I'm probably going to have to cut. So I'm going to kind of do it this way. I want I want the whole unicorn top on this one, but I don't know how much of the bottom I want on this one. And kind of the same with this one. I want my unicorn to kind of be, I don't want the unicorn cut off at the top. So I'm going to go this way with it. So now I can come in on this side, line it up here, kind of butt it against. You can't see it because I'm playing the other end, aren't I? Okay, so I kind of made sure that my unicorn horn was not cut off the top. So now that I have my top where I want it, now I can just come in and cut my bottom part at that 1.5 inch mark. And then for this one, I'm kind of paying attention. I'm going to start with the front because I know that I don't want to cut off the unicorn's nose. So obviously I want to keep a little bit of room in front of the unicorn on this one. And then I can come in here. I should have done a little bit more. And so then I've got 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches. I'm going to cut off a little bit of the tail and a little bit of the cloud. Now you see here, I didn't have it all the way colored. It's not that big of a deal. So I think that'll work. So there's my 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches first one. And this one I did, let's see, I keep wiggling up. So, okay, my 1.5 inches. So I kind of already have my top where I want it, right? So that's kind of like the bigger part of this one is making sure that your focal point or where you want your top of your image is definitely more important than the bottom part of your image on this one. Now I kind of want it a little bit centered. And so I'm trying to just kind of eyeball. So here's my 1.5 inch mark, and here's my cut line. So keep that in mind and kind of look for your visual center. At least that's how I tend to do it. You know, I'm not very picky when it comes to that. And this is where definitely if you have die sets, like this is of course too small, but that 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches, you know, you can kind of line it up in the die. I'm sure I have 1.5 inch one somewhere. I just don't know where it currently is located. So for this one, I'm okay with everything getting a little bit cut off without, you know, without too many worries on this one. So let's see, 1.5 inches, and it actually ended up working that it's gonna fit in here, which is fine. Cute, 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 cute. Okay. So now that I have those 3 cut down, so I have my 3 little images cut down for my card front there. I have to figure out what I'm doing with the rest, right? So I'm going to bring this one. That's why I don't pull this one in, because it's just big. I think I pulled out a purple that I'm thinking will work, but I also got this one. It's from Memory Box. It is their new one. It's a PP 1025. I think it says 2024. So I picked this one up at our local craft store that is closing. I'm sad about it. But so I just liked the colors on this one. It really went with the colors that I used on my actual images. And so I think we're going to use, I don't know, which one do I want? I like that one, but I really like the purples. And since I did the purples on my clouds, I'm just going to go with this one. Or maybe I'm going to go with this one. It did not come out very good, did it? Okay. I'm not going to put, the gold just doesn't go with this one, I don't think. So let's see, can I do, I'm not really going to be able to do 5.5, all right? Well, maybe I will. I can maybe squeak a 5.5 out of this one. Just a 5.5. So 5.5 by 4.25. Now keep in mind, you can definitely do a 5.25 by 4 inches, and that'll give you a nice white border. If you want to do a border on it, let me grab a card base here. So I'm just going to take my A2 card base, which is a half sheet of paper. cut in half, right? So you can definitely go this route where it's all on there, or you could do a 1/4 inch cut all the way around, or, you know, so it's a 1/4 inch shorter. So 5 1/4 by 4 inches will give you that white border there, if that's the look you want. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing yet, so I'll let you know. We'll see how it goes, right? So I could do either side. I could definitely do this one with that beautiful gold emboss on it, or gold foiling on it, but I didn't have gold in my images, so I just don't know if it's gonna go the greatest. And so I think I like them looking at each other in that respect. Let's see here. Ooh, that one actually goes together really well. So this one, I'm looking for a couple things here. So we're doing this one, right? So we have our 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, and 1.5 inches. And then I have this one as kind of like a banner coming in from the side here. We could definitely go with a banner, which is what we're going to do today, but you could definitely bring in this cloud instead and do that cloudy image just down there, and maybe have a magic, you know, whatever you can fit in there. So you can probably fit magical in there. You probably fit glitter in there. You can never have enough glitter, but so there you go. You can never have enough glitter. So you could definitely do that one. You could never have enough. And if glitter doesn't fit in there, stamp it all. Stamp the glitter on top of it and then cut around it. You have to cut it by hand, but you cut around it and do it that way. But I think we'll do the you can never have enough glitter, maybe. I don't know if that's going to fit on. We'll see if it fits on my thing. So I think I'm happy with my layout here. Now keep in mind, you could definitely come in here and do a really small border. I think you can probably get away with 1 3/4 inches. If I do that, let's see. I think I want to pull in that pink. Let's grab it. I think it would just be, it'll pop it. It'll give it a little bit of a pink feel to it. I'm actually going to bring in this one just because the other one does not sit well in my desk, on my desk. So let's go 1 3/4 inches. And 1 3/4 inches. And here's another thing that you could do before I get too far with this one, right? So we talked about, you could definitely throw them on a strip. So this, you don't have to, you know, you can put them on there, and it gives them a little bit of a base. It kind of switches up your layout a little bit. If that's something that you would like, it's definitely an option instead of cutting our 3 little squares here. This one, I think, do I want to come in? I haven't decided if I should do the pink on the bottom or if I should do the purple. I think the pink is going to stick out a little bit better though, isn't it? Well, let's lay this one. I think we're going to do the pink. Okay, so I'm bringing this one back in. Now keep in mind when I'm going to use my die cutter, my die cuts, I'm going to actually stamp this one out twice so you can see it both ways. I put my other one somewhere. Okay. Okay, let's do our sentiment here. So, you. So Fawn sentiments kind of have I don't want to say like a straight edge to butt up to and a straight line, so they usually line up fairly easy, except for they like to stick to my fingers. Okay, let's try this. Well, okay. We're gonna be that way. Okay, so obviously we're living life large today. Okay. So I'm just lining this up on my grid on the top because it didn't want to pick up for me right away. It happens. Okay. So now that I see that I have, I think we're good there. Whoops, my other ones are going to be in the way. Okay. So I think looks like we're good. Now I wanted me to just line it up like straight on the line, just that my sentiment was straight across. It could have been at an angle. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal for when you're die cutting. So I'm coming in with that VersaFine Onyx Black ink. It just gives me a really nice crisp black impression. You can definitely use your Hero Art Intense Black or your Fawn Jet Black ink. Either of those would work. And I'm going to stamp this one a second time because I want to do it both ways for you. So if you're doing the die cut way, I'll show you the die cut way, but if you're doing it the other way, it's always an option. And don't feel like you only have to stamp, you can stamp your sentiment multiple times because sometimes they don't always work the first time when I cut them. So a lot of times I will cut two, or I will stamp two. Sometimes I switch my colors on my stamping because I don't know which one I want. And then let's set this one off to the side. So we have both of those. Grab. So this is the new sidekick. I used to have the old red one. I passed that one off to the next in line. But so obviously this isn't going to fit in here, right? I need to cut it down some. So I'm actually going to do, I'm going to cut this first just because my first one needs to be kind of, I want to leave a little bit, I don't know, can you see it? I can't see it. Okay, I'm going to just cut this one and call it good. I'll come back to this one. Okay, so I have it cut down to a size that's going to actually fit in my die cut machine. Okay, so this one here, and then, so for die cutting, I like to use highlighter tape. Washi works really well. So washi is kind of like that, the little, the tape that has the little images on it. It should be a lower tack tape, so it usually comes off clean. I do have some Crafter's Companion low tack tape. I am not in love with it. It tends to stick when you run it through the die cut machine. It tends to stick to your paper, and I usually end up tearing my paper with it. So I mean, if I use it, because I haven't, so I try to use it. But then I just make sure to put it on the outside of the die and the paper, and hope that I don't need it for anything else. So this one fits fairly good. I mean, I could probably wiggle it mostly in there, but so it's going to hang out, right? So it's a little bit too big. The only thing with this one is to make sure that it's not too wide. So it can be bigger on the other. Doesn't even sound like it's working today, but it's obviously working. Usually it gives me a crunch. Interesting. So all I'm going to do is put it back in, move it, shift it, move it back in, and put it, there we got the little crunch. I don't know why it didn't, and you don't have to run all the way through. You can go just the little bit that didn't cut on the first pass. So you'll see that it cut all of it, and that's, that's how the die cut works when it comes to this. So, I mean, this one's nice for littler stuff. I have you know, the coordinating dies for some of those smaller stamp sets will work. Just keep in mind that anything that's bigger die-wise isn't going to work. It would have worked with these for the little squares would have fit on there. I guess the bigger ones aren't going to, you know, like your A2 size big shapes aren't going to work on this one. So that's why, you know, I kind of say do it. If this one's also nice and portable. So if I'm doing a lot of die cutting of something that's small, I can take it with me into the other room and watch TV while I'm doing it, those types of things. So let's get back to this one. So this one, I think I have it fairly lined up okay. Let's see here. So we're going to go here. And I'm probably going to go this way. Again, if you need to pull in your Post-it note to get it to have enough, you know, room to grab onto, definitely do that. I should have enough on this one. There's do I want 1 1/4 inch? Well, we'll do it at 1 1/4 inch, and if it doesn't look good, well, we might have to trim it down some more. Yeah, it looks a little off. Okay, I'm a little heavy on my bottom border. I'm just gonna wiggle it just a little bit here. Okay. Let me get my scraps out of the way. Okay, so we have this one. Well, it's still kind of heavy on my bottom border, but it is what it is. Okay, so I'm pretty sure, am I coming in from this way or that way? So if I come in from this way, right? Let's go this way. So I'm just going to bring this back in and kind of cut where I want it to be on my card base, giving it a little bit, yeah, it's going to drive me nuts, so I'm going to cut it down just a little bit more. I guess I should have gone with the inch to start with. Much better. Okay. So now that I have this, I want to flag my one end here, right? Now, in a perfect world, my U would have been right in the middle there, and, you know, it's not. Okay, so I'm just going to do that little folded in half trick, kind of come in here where I want my point to end, and then I'm going to come in from corner. I kind of wiggled it because I wasn't going to hit it. Alright, there we go. That's what happens when you wiggle. Alright, so I'm going to pull those off to the side again. And we're coming back in, right? Okay. So we have this one. Let's grab our glue. All of my images and my little triangles. My little, I don't know why I want to say triangles today. I guess you could make triangles if you wanted to. My rectangles today. Okay, so I'm just going to start and add one at a time here. Kind of doing them in the center or trying my best. You know, I don't measure anything. I line up with my eyeballs. Just so you know, my eyeballs are broken and I wear glasses because I can't see straight. Actually, my depth perception is really bad. Astigmatism? Yes, that is me. It was funny, we were picking rocks this week and I came in the house before chores and I took off my glasses because they were covered in dirt. And so I didn't I don't know. I forgot to put them back on when we left. And I was like, my husband was driving and we were going out the drive and I'm like, whoa. And he's like, what? I'm like, I forgot to put my glasses back on. Well, it's all trippy. It's like my depth perception is really bad. It's funny. Okay. I'm going to glue this on to my card base. I know I'm gluing down the forehead side. pretty. I like plaids. Plaids are my kryptonite. Okay, so I have my card base on there, and you could definitely just build the card on top of this. You don't have to put it on a card if you're not comfortable sending them out yet. It'll save you on some paper, but I urge you to send them out. I love getting cards. I don't care what they look like. So here we go. I think we're good there. And then we're going to bring this one in here. Perfect. Okay. So I kind of want to keep a little bit of a border on, you know, all the way around my image. I don't know if these are going to line up perfectly, but you know. So let's see. I probably should have a ruler for this point in time, but here, we'll go this way. So that square there, that square there. This one needs to go up a little bit. I know, I cheat. Okay. And then we're going to top it off with this one. Now this one you could actually go down with it. You could go up with it a little bit. It's going to give it a little bit different look, but it's cute either way. So think of it this way. So if you go this way, you could definitely pop that one up a little bit, or you could bring it down a little bit. It's going to change the look a little bit of the layout, but ultimately it's the same, right? It's just using the three things across kind of in a row and your sentiment banner either beneath it or above it and going that route. Also, if your images ended up being a little bit bigger, so maybe I cut these at 1.5 inches by 1 inch, or not 1.5 inches, 1 3/4, or 2 inches by 2 inches by 2 inches, you could stagger and overlap them, you know, just kind of keeping in mind that maybe you don't want the unicorn's face overlapping, so, but you could definitely go a little bit bigger with it and make it work that way. So then we're going to come in here and we're just going to add this one. Try to do equidistance from that bottom there and the bottom there, so you have about the same amount of space there. And then because the sentiment says you can never have enough glitter, I think we have to bring in some glitter. So let's see. I've got glitter somewhere. Not me with 5 bottles of glitter. Okay, twinkle. I think we're just going to do some dots on this one. Kind of varying the size of them. And then I'm going to come off, whoops, I've got a bubble in it. I really didn't follow any rhyme and or pattern or reason. And you could definitely put more glitter, less glitter. You could do glitter along your clouds if that's what you want. I think I probably have enough glitter, but you know, you can never really have enough glitter, right? So, all right, there is our creation for today. I hope you enjoyed this one. I love the blues and the purples in this one. So there is the one we did today, of course, using that 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch square for our image and the banner. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.